As usual, if you don't see it my way, you're an idiot. Especially in the last year where I went to great lengths to spell it out for you. On top of the ideas I've been exploring for maybe 8 or 9 years before that on YouTube. Okay, so Luciferian, right? Lose I for Ari-an. Ari-an is the common root with the German, who's more associated with the right wing at this point, and the German Jew, who's more associated with the left wing. This is also why we get Ashkenazi, right, and Nazi. Okay, so Ari-an, right? Lose I for Ari-an. Also lucky for I-an. An refers to Anu, the Sumerian sky deity, who is associated with the Anunnaki, his fertility cult followers who went around basically raping everybody and teaching them magic arts that they learned ultimately from Ethiopia, unless I'm missing something. And we'll get to that momentarily. So also it's lack I fo ra an, or on rather, on being Heliopolis. They lack I fo ra on. So the foe of the devils is Ra and his followers through Horus. Everyone else pretty much falls in that category. When they spread democracy, they spread the right wing and the left wing that work together to help the dragon fly. And I've described it before as a donkey, right, with its sickness, mixed with an elephant, mixed with an eagle, is a dragon. Okay, that's where you get this weird, complex, having weird, big, flying beast. We'll get to that momentarily as well. So now let's look at key words here. Abba, right? Igbo, ultimately in this wordplay, is Abba. In the Igbo tribe, you have sniveling traders, you have different types of people, and you have the cult center. A goal, Ari. A goal, a Ra. Ear, I to a Ra. The main cult center of the Igbo tribe. So what is the determinant here? Okay. The determinant, okay, is deter min an with the T, which is the feminine suffix. If you can resist conformity, right, with the accompanying moral code, okay, the A camp, right, whose camp, right, not camp, the snake world serpent, but the actual camp, right, the cult center, the accompanying moral code. So the determinant when it comes to the martial art order is if you can stick to the accompanying moral code, right? Can you deter Min An, who is telling you as a Luciferian, which means magic emphasized, okay? He's telling you lose I for Aryan. Which one? The Nazi guys who are dominant on the right, or the Ashkenazi guys who are dominant on the left. It's pretty much that simple. Look at who's teamed up with who and why, fill in the blanks. So let's keep going. So let's look at Mars, okay, and the spirit. What's he referring to? The idea there is the rams, and we also have the Ra there. Mars is Ares, the deity of war, right? And Venus pretty much prefers Mars. And this is part of the problem. It's the problem with Hephaestus, okay? When in the Greco-Roman mythology, Mars, Ares, he's mad because he's supposed to be married to Venus or Aphrodite, and she prefers the god of war, not the god of crafts and blacksmithing, okay? And this is, this leads us to the no gear argument, okay? No gear, the N-word, ignorant. Gear is G, or Ki, the Sumerian earth goddess deity, right? EA for Inky, and R, okay? So it's also gay ear, right? If you're focused on the clothing, that is like some female stuff, right? Jesus wore rags, right? The heroes aren't necessarily draped in the finest stuff, right? So if you're focused on the gear, you may as well have tits and a vagina, okay? So that leads us to the German, right? With all due respect. The gear man, right? The tiger, right? The T, the feminine suffix, I, gear. Reminds me of that homosexual song, The Eye of the Tiger, right? You know, it's the eye of the tiger, da, 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 right? Looking out for their rivals. Who's their rival? The leopard. That is why Dionysus or Bacchus rides the leopard. Okay? He's on his back. He's using that to turn everyone against each other. He's saying we must come together, you know, to control, to keep the leopard, the true leopard king down. Horus, son of Ra, Ra as the leopard, the true Ka, the true spirit, leopard, leopard, cat of Heliopolis. Okay? So it got a little confusing there perhaps, you know, so I'll break it down again. The no gear, these are the gear words. The N word, Nigeria, okay? Niger, gear itself. German, right? Gear man, right? You know, it's a magic quote unquote spell. Tiger, right? Dragon, dragon going backwards. Okay, we get no gear D. No gear for those who are in the pure masculine spirit. The D stands for penis. Okay, we also can get draw gene going forwards. Okay, and I think that's all I got there. Okay, so then, you know, there's also D, Ra, gone, right? The spirit of the man gone. So no gear of the D and the spirit of God, right? Drape yourself, you know, like the Bible says, put on the armor of God. They're not talking about, you know, metal, steel, right? To steel, to metal and metal, okay? They're talking about the spirit. So the spirit is gone. The dragon's this big beast, rah, right? In a rage, which is rag-e, okay? If you don't get this, watch it over again, okay? The tiger is trying to replace the leopard because people are naturally inclined to respect and revere the leopard. And this is a big part of what Luciferianism is about. That's why some martial arts studios have, I think I have one right here, the tiger and the dragon fighting each other. And this is also, the tiger is said to not be found in Africa. The leopard is. Okay? And the leopard moved over time to sub-Saharan Africa, where it is far more frequently found, even though they're poaching them, than other parts of Africa and the world, from what I gather. Okay. Ultimately, it's a no-brainer that Nekhen, in way down in southern Egypt, is the one that united the land. You know, it's the cult center. Okay. And of course, you get Hangar, right? Shaolin, Showline, Shu, which means to hold, right? To show you something, to hold, right? And they're holding the black man down. Yes, the big three races work together, you know, not necessarily this guy, not necessarily not this guy, to be diplomatic, to hold the black man down and to misrepresent what martial arts are and to do it in the worldly energy of the ki, right? Ki or chi or ki, you know, the K with a Q is the world energy. You hear them talking about moving energy, not the spirit of God. And even if they're talking about the sun, they're talking about energy from the sun and not the spirit of God. Okay, moving on. We also have the word Norse, Nordic, and Nazi. Nazi backwards, eyes, an. Okay, Nordic, right? And ear. Dick, right? This gets confusing because sometimes the dick refers to your penis and your sexual energy, and sometimes it refers to the masculine spirit of God. Okay, so nor, right? And ear, see, so, say. Okay, ease, run, ease, ran. This also refers to the kind of rushing, right? You have the berserker who's associated with the Vikings and so on. They rush into battle, right? So ease, run, okay? This also refers to the cheetah, right? Running alone means nothing, right? The leopard strikes out, right? He doesn't run into battle per se. He strikes out, okay? The falcon flies down and targets and strikes. So the idea of maneuverability and striking, right? The leopard climbs up the tree, right? And maneuvers around the tree and said to run across the tree masterfully, right? His maneuvering is key. Whereas these other animals more rely on running. And this goes back to the back, right? Background check, right? Let me get back to you on that, right? Who's got your back, right? Your back up. Okay. Anyway, and back that ass up and so on and so forth. All right, so we move on with the game, right? Help in the game, right? It goes back to it's a scramble for mage, gay, quote unquote, me. Obviously, I'm not gay. Help, right? Means you get play from that going backwards. The H is the fence, right? You also get L as in mentally L, or all for pan, and P, okay, which is for penis, and they're basically running trains on people. Who's training who? Now, whose language is this? Is this Igbo language? No, this is their language. Okay, when you look at the language and what they're communicating, it reveals a lot about the culture. And this culture is said to go back to where writing is said to come from. We're talking about Sumer and Babylon and so on and so forth. These are Babylonian mysteries, magic spells, gospel, ghost spell, sigils. Look at all the different ways Satanists write different things on their face, right? The Temple of Set, he's an Ashkenazi Jew. He's not a Nazi, okay? But Hitler's also said to be satanic and into the occult. The Temple of Set, the left especially, is openly into the occult. And of course, that connects the right and the left, as you have these occultists who claim to be quote unquote Christians. And what a Christian is, you know, is said to be a matter of your point of view, whether he's a follower of Ra, Yah, or even Amen, and so on and so forth. Okay. So when we look at Buddhism, it's another thing that gives it away. Think about the dragon flag of the Vikings, or the dragon crest, you know, among the crests and the royal symbols and insignias of the English royal family, who went around the world, and what symbols did they have? You know, look at all the places the Vikings are said to invade, including England, the UK itself. Okay, so we also look at Buddhism. We have the Year of the Dragon. Well, we have Buddhist mental health. They're influencing mental health. The dragon, the world serpent, Apep, that swallows the spirit of God, you know, and the sun symbolically, the solar boat symbolically, right, which is symbolic of Ra's continuity of the spirit and it being regenerated through breeding of the pharaoh into the world. So we get the Chinese, the Japanese, the Vietnamese, the Koreans, the Islanders, and on and on and on. There's Buddhists all over the place. There's Hindus that connect to it, and they have their own kind of satanic occult. They're Devis, right? Divas, devils, right? Kali, and so on and so forth. Okay, so when we look at Anu himself, right? Going back to Luciferian, Lu's I for Ari-an, not Ari, you know, in terms of the sky god, in terms of Chuku, not Chuku Ari, not Horus, son of Ra, or Ra Horus, not to be confused with Ra Horiketi, mind you, okay? But actually Ari-an. Okay, so they remove, like in Igbo culture, the Chuku is said to the true God is said to be removed. And then you have a Lucy, right, which goes back to Luciferian, and Lucy are lesser deities. Okay, so over here in West Africa, you have the people who among their deities was Anna, okay, Earth Mother. Okay, over here in Egypt, okay, you have the people who basically worship Jeb, who was a male earth deity who is said to have raped his father's wife, and Shu was his father, and Shu flew away, right? Nothing was holding back evil anymore. And over here in Sumer, okay, you had Ki, or G, the earth goddess. Okay, these are all ideas are connected. Basically, they raped the Igbo women who were the cult center of Ra and Horus, among other places. They took them and raped them. Human trafficking, Ra fucking. Okay, some people got raped in the butt. Okay, that's why Jeb is gay. A gay deity, right? Excuse me, that's why he's the earth deity, even though the earth is a mother earth, and it's a no-brainer that the earth is mother earth, right? Women take in the spirit of God, and then they give birth, okay? Anyway, that's how it's supposed to be, at least. So again, we have the Havera agreement, the Stern agreement. We have the different factions of Jews in the Bible, Baal, and those who worship Yah or Yahweh, okay? We have where Crete was located. We have Canaan, okay? Both centers of homosexuality historically and otherwise. Crete is King Minos, said to be the father of homosexuality. Also has association with Helios, the sun god, also said to be where Zeus was born. Okay. And that's about it for this video. I'm out of time anyway. Yeah, we'll leave it there. Also, the elf and the self plays into this. You know, the determinant, right? Did you have this elf-looking Sumerian father, right? So it's Abba and the determinant, determine, right? In terms of the father, like father, like son.